Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is October 7th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1951, the brother of Paul Orndorff, Terry Orndorff. 1975, watch out for the gore, it's Rhino. 1986, former WWF Divas Champion, Caitlyn. And last but not least, 1987, former WWF talent and commentator, Aiden English. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for October 7th. 2001, gentleman, Chris Adams. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for October 7th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and starting in 1957, where we see Richard Brown defeat Red Berry in Wichita, Kansas, for the NWA Central States title. This marked the beginning of the third reign for Brown and ended the second run with the belt for Berry. Our final stop in the 50s, 1959. Lee Fields defeats the Mighty Yankee in Mobile, Alabama, to win the NWA Gulf Coast Heavyweight title for a second time in his career. In a different twist, Fields would vacate the title in a few months when he decided to buy the promotion. Grooving into the 60s, 1964. Chin Lee defeats Silento Rodriguez for the NWA Gulf Coast Heavyweight title, ending Rodriguez's second title reign in Mobile, Alabama. Grabbing my best pair of bell-bottoms and going to the 70s, 1972. Ken Patera, the Olympic weightlifter, announced he was retiring as a powerlifter to become a professional wrestler. The announcement is so big, it is carried nationally on the news. Grabbing my boombox and going to the 80s, 1984. A live event in Charlotte, North Carolina featured a tournament for the United States Championship. In the tournament final, Wahoo McDaniel defeated Manny Fernandez to win that U.S. title. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1995. ECW ran a show at the ECW Arena in South Philadelphia with two notable matches. First, Cactus Jack defeating El Puerto Ricano. As part of a storyline at the time, Cactus purposely made the matches boring as possible in order to infuriate the hardcore fans. He would tease using a chair or fighting on the floor, but then would simply apply a side headlock instead. The fans responded by doing the wave. And second, originally ECW planned to have the Public Enemy versus the Gangsters, a match held outside the building, but the local authorities wouldn't allow it. Instead, ECW held a three-way dance, Part 2, with the Public Enemy defeating the Gangsters and Steven Richards and Raven to win the ECW World Tag Team titles for a fourth and final time in their careers. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for October 7th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.